Hi, Mayor. We're good on YouTube.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Buster.
This meeting to the Mayor and Board of Aldermen for the City of Cleveland is now in session. Anyone that has business before this board, please speak up and you will be heard.
Ted, can you open us with prayer?
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come this evening of the hour to give thanks for the many blessings that have restored unto us. We thank you for blessing this city. We pray that we will continue work together. You said if we work together and pray together, we will forever have a forever everlasting void. We pray that everything we do and say tonight will be in your will. It is in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you and Happy New Year to everyone. We have one
Same to
visitor,
you.
Sam Washington. Sam, are you on with us?
I don't see him, Mayor.
Dominic, is it Sam? Can you see Sam?
I don't see him either. We can
Okay.
go on there.
All right, well, we'll go into public hearings.
I believe I'm live.
Yeah.
I'll begin the reading. 701 Memorial Drive, Cotton Station Holdings LLC, no progress. 914 Smith Cove, Dr. Clemmy Williams, no progress. 907 South Chrisman Avenue, Leon Foster, no progress. 614 Hadley Street, Jimmy McKnight, some progress. 413 South Chrisman Avenue, New Sunshine 2013 LLC, no progress. 605 Lee Street, Thomas Culprit Jr., no progress. 3619 Highway 61 North, Wanda Caswell and Marcia Scallion, some progress. 406 East Sunflower Road, Prospect Hill LLC, no progress. It would be in order for the board to motion and second to adjudicate pursuant to 21-1911.
So move.
Okay, Robert made the motion.
Second.
Second, Ted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, public hearings on what we have 4 of them here.
Yes, sir. I can proceed with Mr. Trotter. I guess it'd probably be good if he goes off mute. The first one is a public hearing for John Brooks, who's requesting a 20-foot rear yard setback and variance. It's been approved by the Planning Commission. Have there been any objections submitted?
No, sir, I haven't.
Okay. The second one is a public hearing for Charles Murrah, who's requesting a 10-foot side yard setback, and it's been approved by the Planning Commission. Have there been any objections submitted?
No, sir.
And then I'm going to skip to the fifth one, is a public hearing for Commental Parks, who is requesting a variance for her property located at 301 Yale Street. The property has previously been approved for a variance by the board, but it was over a year ago, and it will be used as a recreational facility. That's that CRA property. Have there been any objections submitted?
No.
Yeah, and unless there was discussion, it would be in order for items 2, 3, and 4 to be approved by the board.
2, 3, and 5.
2, 3, and 5. Thank
Right.
you.
So move.
Danny made the motion.
Why am I muted?
Why are we muted?
We're muted.
But we haven't discussed that one just yet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm confused here. Danny made the motion. We're on. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ted, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, go back to number 4, Danny.
Yes, sir. For efficiency, I addressed those others because there was no objection. Number 4 is a public hearing for David Robinson, who's requesting a 10-foot side yard setback variance pursuant to Article 6, Section 608 of the Land Development Ordinance for construction of 12 by 20 addition to his existing ancillary structure for storage. The zoning ordinance requires a 15-foot side yard setback. I understand that there is an objection.
Yes, that's correct.
Go
Can,
ahead, please. Identify yourself and go ahead.
yes, sir. Happy New Year first to
Happy New Year.
everyone,
Yes, sir.
and blessings to all of your families in 2022. I'm Sherry Lynn Defoe, and this is my husband, Patrick English, behind me. We have resided next to the Robinsons for all of their tenure here. We've been on 1307 Lamar for since May of 1998. And we're here to find out more details regarding the variance request by Mr. Robinson. And we've just been informed less than 2 hours ago that the permit request is involving now a shop of rather massive dimensions. And what I did do last night, sir, and members of the Board of Aldermen, is I reached out to the other members of the Board of Aldermen, and I sent them a letter describing some of our concerns, sir. And I wish that that letter be added into the administrative record, please.
That would certainly be appropriate.
Okay.
Mr. Defoe, may I ask a question? You say you sent a letter to the Board of Aldermen, all of us, or just two of them?
It was all of them. There were 7 email addresses that I was able to garner from Dominique Green's message about the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
So I can tell you, we can, let's see, who did I send it to? Mr. Danny Abraham, Mr. Kirk Poval, Gary Gaines Belletti, Mr. Ted Campbell, Mrs. or Ms. Zinnia Hausa Wins, Mr. Robert Sanders, and Mr. Brian Bishop. Those were the aldermen that we were able to identify from your website, the standing aldermen. And you, sir, are, if you didn't request or if you didn't receive our email, I'd certainly send it to you.
Well, go ahead and continue. I'm looking back and just continue. Go right here.
Oh, okay.
Dominique, do you have that letter that she sent out?
No, sir.
Okay. I mean, I have it. I don't know how to share it.
You want to forward it to me?
I'll be glad to.
And then I can put it in Dropbox real quick.
Okay. Give me 1 second and I'll send it to you.
Sure.
Hey, Gary, what was the date of the letter? When was it emailed?
I got it yesterday.
Looks like it was emailed on Sunday, January the 2nd at 8:22 p.m.
Okay, it's possible it could have gotten lost in my email of all the emails that I have. I'll go back and check.
Dominic, I just sent it to you. Did you get it? Yeah, I read the email and then I went and looked at the pictures that Billy put in our packet.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
Zania, I just forwarded it to you.
Thanks.
Okay. We'll go ahead with the discussion.
We would like to bring up several issues regarding setbacks on the property of 1305 Lamar Street. There appear to be compliance issues. Mainly, it is revolving around the setbacks. We have an accessory structure at 1305 Lamar Street that is not compliant with setbacks on its west side nor on its south side with the 5-foot setback to be in compliance with the city ordinance. We have a a generator, an emergency generator that that's fueled by natural gas, that has been installed within 18 inches of our property line that separates 1305 from 1307. That is not in compliant with the 5-foot setback in the city ordinance. And there is a brand new installation of a, it looks like an air conditioning exchange unit. Once again, this is positioned very close to the property line and our fence, and it's not adhering to the 5-foot setback. Sirs. And then in addition, we have questions about liability issues.
Mr. Powell, I've got a couple of questions. So
Sure.
I can only assume that the structures that are there have already received a variance. Are you objecting to the variance that Mr. Robinson is asking for this evening?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
sir, we
I
are.
just want to make sure we were clear on that.
Yes.
The question would be, Mr. Robinson would have to have had a permit from the city to put these there. So we have given him a permit to do so, Brian, have we not?
No, I don't see how we can give them a permit if if we're requesting a variance.
No. I'm saying he had to have a permit to put that generator there with
Right.
the previous structures.
Yes.
We're
He's
talking
asking
about
to add
previous
on.
structures. They're already there. So we gave them permission to do that.
If I can speak, I went when he was doing some siding on the house, and our power was disrupted for a long period of time because he had to disconnect. And I went to the planning commission and asked about the permit associated with that. And the comment was they were unaware of any siding going up on his property. They went there, looked at it, and his comment was, and I will quote him, Mr. Robinson is going to come to the office and we're going to file the appropriate permits after
Building had commenced and had been ongoing for several months. That is just one.
That's one instance.
That's one instant. I'm addressing Mr. Abraham, correct?
Yes, who was speaking? Who was speaking earlier?
That is my husband, Patrick English.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. We indicated we were going to be on the same line, so there wouldn't be too many
windows
connection
open.
issues.
Yes. So in answer to your question, Mr. Abraham, about structures existing and previous permits and variances, we have been at this address since 1998. The Robinsons moved in probably 2003, 2004, 2005, somewhere in there. Our previous friends and neighbors were Bonnie and Bobby Horton. Bonnie and Bobby Horton, yeah. But at any rate, the Robinsons, within the first perhaps 12 to 16 months of their occupancy, had a fire. And that fire destroyed the original shed. That original shed was replaced. However, we question the permitting, and also since the way in which it's constructed, it sits 41 inches off of our east fence, his west fence, and the south wall is positioned right against the easement. Now, when we inquired of city officials if we could put a similar storage structure where part of the side also was confluent with our easement fence, we were told no. Okay. Yet this happened and we did not see a variance. We have been here for years and years. There has been only one previous variance that we've encountered for the Robinsons, and that was replacing a a stairwell on the west side of their two-story structure. It was a stairwell to allow fire escape from their loft, their second-story loft, which the Hortons had. Okay, that was the only variance, and we allowed it, no problem. Okay, that was the only variance. There was not a variance for the accessory standing structure there now. And what's on the table being proposed by Mr. Robinson is he wants to essentially double the size of that structure. That structure that's there now that is not compliant with the city setbacks, okay, because it's 41 inches from our property line, and it has its south face at the easement, which we were not allowed to do. And we didn't even file a permit since we were told no. Okay. That structure, or his new proposal, is wanting to extend that accessory structure by an additional 20 feet. We went out and measured that structure. That structure is 13 feet by 29.5 feet right now. That would bring that structure to 13 feet by 60 feet, very close to 60 feet, sir. 60 feet is the east-west axis of our home. That's a massive structure that's being requested. And that, sir.
Mayor, can I say something?
Please
Yes,
do.
The reason we have this variance process is to give anybody that has property adjacent to a property owner the opportunity to reject to something that does not fall within our guidelines. I would like to kick this back to the Planning Commission and maybe see if the Robinsons and Miss Sherry can reach some kind of reasonable conclusion of how to make this work, because I mean, we can talk about the details of this all night,
true.
but as a board, it's going to be hard for us to make a decision tonight.
You can do that. You
Yes,
can refer to the Planning Commission, and I believe Mr. Trotter's already been there and looked and has a reply, but whatever you wish to do, it's within the board's discretion.
Thank you, Mr. Gaines Paletti. Thank you.
Okay.
And now David is on this call. I think we at least need to give him the opportunity to speak.
Sure.
Okay. David, are you on the Zoom call?
He's muted right now.
David?
Bottom left corner.
David? Does he act like I don't see him on the screen? So.
Don't touch ours.
David?
There he is.
David. You got David? Is David with us?
He's fixing to come on now.
Okay.
He's unmuted.
David? David? I'm trying hard.
High technology, yes.
Yeah.
Best.
David? Okay. If David is not going to look like
Mayor, this is more than our board. There's a lot of detail to this. I've looked at everything on here. I think the Planning Commission needs to give us some guidance on this.
yeah. So
If you will, if I may speak just a moment.
please do.
To the property this morning, I looked at it. Ordinance has changed. I'm not sure when Mr. Robinson built his storage shed, but I mean, the land development ordinance came after that, I'm sure. And I know it's been some back and forth with them about it, but that generator has been there over 10 years. And I mean, he's requesting a 10-foot side yard variance. I don't see any reason as being a fire. He's way over the 8 feet from any other structure. So he's within 30 feet or 40 feet from the neighbor's structure, and he's going to attach it to his house which make it an attached garage, a sort to store Christmas decoration. I personally don't see any problem with it if if it was approved with no objections to it. But yeah, ordinance has changed. So when it was originally constructed with the original construction of the storage shed he had, the ordinance, land development ordinance wasn't in place back in 2001, 2002. So I'm not sure what the setback was back then as well. But as of right now, he's an R1 zone. He needs a 15-foot side yard setback, which he had 5 from his property line. So he's requesting 10. Even if he was granted that 10 with no objection, it would be fine according to the community development standpoint. And I think Greg had the same sentiments as I have at this point.
Greg, do you have any comment?
Yes, sir. I went by and visited with Miss Sherry and Mr. Patrick today, just to make sure that they were aware that we are absolutely concerned about their concerns as well. We went in and talked to Mr. Robinson as well. We looked over his plans, and we actually measured from the addition that he's wanting to put on, moving north. We took the corner of that building and measured from there to the corner of the house. We're looking at about 35 to 40 feet. So this will alleviate any issues with the possibility of fire, which I do understand that's one of their concerns. And that's the reason we went over there and looked at it and put our hands on it. We didn't see an issue there. One of the things that they inquired about was that they had mentioned at one time in their residency doing a project and was told no. I just want to say that Mr. Robinson was also told no and given the next step, and he moved forward with that next step, which was requesting a variance, so that he's aware of what the code says. We're all aware of what the code says. And the next step in that variance would be us going over to determine whether or not there'd be any type of danger, impeding on anyone's comfort or anything on the as far as risk to any adjoining neighbors. We didn't see anything with his plans that would do that. But we certainly want to make sure that we take Mr. Sherry and Mr. Patrick and take that into consideration because they do live in that area as well. But we didn't see any issues there.
Mayor, I make a motion. We have a meeting on January the 18th. I make a motion that the Planning Commission revisit all of these issues and make a recommendation to the board for January the 18th.
Billy, what is your day? Isn't it the third Thursday?
Yes, third Thursday of the month.
Would that be? We
No,
won't be,
we meet on
won't
the
be
20th.
catching the 18th that way.
You have to wait until next month.
Yeah. So you won't.
Whoops. I'm sorry, sir. I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay, you please feel free to go ahead.
Okay, sir. We would like, we very much appreciate Mr. Gaines Paletti's ideas and comments. And we would like to be a part of the meetings with the planning commissions. Because as Mr. Gaines Paletti said earlier, there seem to be some issues that need to be ironed out. So if all of us could meet commonly at the table and openly discuss our concerns, my husband and I would appreciate that greatly. So,
Greg, I think it'd be appropriate for you and Billy and if need be Danny to sit down with this couple before the meeting and kind of so everybody knows each other's grievance and that type of thing. And
Yes,
go
sir.
from there.
No problem.
Would that be acceptable?
Absolutely.
Mr. Mayor, the only thing I would suggest is that you make it returnable to the 1st February meeting so that the Planning Commission has enough time. We can sit down with them. You know, there are things within the city's power and there are things not. Things in 2001, 2003, before the land development ordinance, old issues are not something that we're going to be able to address. The specific variance request here of the side of the setback we can address, and happy to do so.
Danny, you may need to sit in that as well. What are we using 2015 now, Mr. Trotter?
We're using the, yes, sir. We use 2015 International Building Codes, but we also have the land development ordinance, zoning ordinance that we're using for the setbacks and whatnot.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, Gary, is this kind of in line with what your motion is?
So when is their meeting?
They're gonna have a meeting with Mr. Trotter and Greg and Danny, before, what would be the date of your third Thursday?
January the 20th.
It's 20th. That's gonna be after our.
We will be we'll be meeting the 18th, so this will, they will go before the board with a prior meeting, with the ones I've just said before the 20th. Then they'll go to the meeting the 20th, and we'll report back February the 1st.
May I ask where this 20th of January meeting will be convened, please?
City Hall,
City Hall.
Yes,
Okay. And the time, please?
4 o'clock, Billy.
4 p.m.
4 o'clock?
You will be getting with them before then, Greg. And
Yeah,
Billy.
that's correct.
Work out each other's grievances here, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So if I'm understanding the arrangements, my husband Patrick and I will need to meet with Mr. Gaines Belletti.
No, you're gonna meet with Danny Griffith.
Not
Greg,
with me.
Mr. Abe, okay, I'm trying to get who we all are.
Right.
Mr. Abraham?
No,
No,
Okay.
it's gonna be Billy Trotter,
Oh, Billy, okay.
and Greg Jackson and Danny Griffith.
Greg Jackson, okay, we met Mr. Greg and had a nice conversation this morning. So Billy
Yeah.
Trotter, Greg Jackson, and the last.
Danny Griffith.
Danny
Griffith. our
Danny
attorney.
Griffith, and these gentlemen are the Planning Commission? Is that
No,
correct?
they're over public, community development and our city attorney.
Okay, so 20th of January, 4 PM, City Hall with Billy Trotter, Greg Jackson, and Danny Griffith.
That will be the big planning commission meeting. Billy will get with you or Greg in the next couple of days, and y'all will
Oh, I
make a time convenient for all of y'all to meet prior to that.
I've got you.
Kind of
All
iron
right.
out what your thoughts are.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
So Greg, Gary, are we close on that motion there?
I'm not sure what it is anymore.
Okay. Okay.
I
It's been
just
for-
want the planning commission, I want it to be put back to the planning commission to get clarity on what we have.
Yeah.
Because what I've heard from David Robinson and Greg and Billy is not the same thing that Mr. Farr is saying. So I don't know enough to make a decision.
Okay.
So I would say that it would be brought back up to the planning commission and brought to us on our February meeting.
And they're gonna have a prior meeting with our people before the January 20th.
And at that point, we get a recommendation from the planning commission.
Correct.
and someone will advise the Robinsons of the 20th meeting.
Sure.
Okay.
Billy
I'm
Trotter
good.
will.
I second the motion.
Okay, Danny, second motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we'll move on. But thank y'all for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, sirs.
Okay. All right, let's see where we are here then. Engineering.
All right, hey guys, I'm gonna be brief. First up, we took bids on our wastewater treatment plant project, and I believe you all have the bid tab in front of you. And as you know, the bids, what we expected, they came in above our original budget. And right now, we have a DRA grant and an SRF loan involved in this project. We sent the bids and everything to DEQ. They essentially verbally approved the additional funding needed for the project, asked us to redo all our documents and send them to them. So what we're asking the board now is to approve us to go ahead and revise the SRF loan documents and have the mayor execute them.
Okay, motion.
So move.
Danny made the motion.
Second.
Second, Zena, all in favor, say aye.
Second.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, the only other couple minor updates are MLK sewer rehab project. The contractor completed that project right before Christmas. They're buttoning up a punch list now. We'll have that one closed out. Our water meter replacement project, our last water meter that we've been waiting on is coming in this Thursday. So hopefully next week or the next 2 weeks, we should fully complete that project. We only have, I think, 15 left, I believe. And the only other update is our North Street Drainage Project. We have re-advertised the project and are accepting bids mid-February. That's all I got.
Okay, questions?
Yeah.
Josh,
Yes, ma'am.
excuse me, go ahead. Where are we with the poles for the cameras?
The camera poles, you know, we got that quote. Believe I sent it to Buster. He might have more of an update for him.
We've ordered them. They just have not come in yet, Miss Housey. They advised it was going to be a little bit because of COVID problems that they're having at their plant.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions, Josh?
Josh, what about striping downtown?
Yeah, now that Christmas lights are gone, we're going to get back on that. Let me get a little plan sent out to contractors. We can go and get a price together and get that awarded.
Give them another day or two on getting those decorations up.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, I had a,
Yes, Kurt.
what action did we take any action on the bids that was submitted for the wastewater treatment facility?
No, sir. I want to get official approval from DEQ before we take any real action on awarding the project. So
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Josh. Danny, city attorney.
Yes, sir. You have the consent agenda before you for approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Danny, Gary made the motion.
Second.
Brian second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And then after that, the only item I have may require an executive session of the employee action recommendations, depending on your review of what Heather has submitted.
Okay. With that, we'll go to Billy Trotter, Planning Commission and Heritage.
I don't have any updates for Planning Commission or Heritage. They will meet this month and appoint chair and vice chair. I don't have anything other than my monthly report. If you all don't have anything else for me.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What is there any ordinances as relates to these makeshift car repair shops at these homes? What are we doing about that? Or is there anything that speaks to that?
We've been working with Chief Bingham and going around trying to see what we can do. My department can't run license plates, and when we go out, they say they their own personal cars because we don't. The ordinance is a home occupation. You can't have traffic coming back and forth to your house in a residential neighborhood. Well, they'll tell the code enforcement officer that that's their home and their own vehicle. So of course we can't run the tag of in. So we get Chief Bingham to come by, and we've been meeting and going around. It's just a circle of events with that, but we've been hard on it. We had one on Delta and one on Lee Street that we've been going back and forth with for several months now.
Okay, and the vehicles are stationary, and I've gone through some areas where it looks like a makeshift mechanic shop at some homes.
If you will, give me that information tomorrow or this evening, and I would check first thing in the morning.
I will. Thank you.
Mayor, let me follow up on that.
Okay.
I agree with Zena 100%. We got people that are just, they're letting little businesses pop up in residential neighborhoods, and it's really getting awkward. This is not in the city limits, but it really looks bad for the city. If you go down North Bayou, we have 2 cemeteries there. And right across from the last cemetery going north, is turned into a junkyard. And it's getting more and more cars every day. Now, it just so happens the city limits ended right there.
Right by the bridge. Yeah, I was there.
Do we have, and Greg or Billy, or do we have any kind of buffer zone authority whatsoever? And Kirk, maybe you or Danny can address that.
Danny, not a buffer zone authority per se, but the county has some zoning in place.
Well, I mean, nobody's doing anything about it. And this guy started out with 2 or 3 cars, and I went by it yesterday, and he's up to probably 40 now. And these are wrecked vehicles.
Okay,
I'll
get,
someone from the county and see, can we get on one accord and see, can they go by and put it on public nuisance or something like that? I check with Bill in the morning. Bill Quinn.
gonna get with Mr. Hooker on that as well, Billy.
Yeah, I will.
I mean, if we don't get a handle on this, it's going to start happening all over the city.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay.
Okay, Billy, anything from community development?
No, sir, nothing than my monthly report.
Okay, you're doing a good job. Okay, Anna? Anna Sledge?
How are y'all? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm good besides my monthly report, unless y'all have anything for me.
Had a busy month.
Good job.
Questions of Anna?
I do. I have something I want to say.
Okay, say it.
Her report says that since she started on May the 3rd, we've had just a hair under $30,000 in collections. Do you realize the highest year we've ever had was like $9,000? That was in 2018. Most of the years are $2,000, $3,000, and $5,000. I mean, this is remarkable. Anna, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you too, Anna.
Thank you.
Okay, Buster?
Y'all have my report. If you have any questions about that, I'd be glad to answer it. I just have a couple more things besides that to address to y'all.
Questions of Buster? Okay, go ahead with the other.
Okay, as you saw in the report, we had 2 officers to retire. Both of them had over 20 years of 20 years of service to the city. It's been customary in the past that we allow the officers to purchase their duty weapons for $1. That's pursuant to Mississippi Code 459131. I would like to ask that these officers be allowed, or me be allowed to purchase these weapons for the officers that retired.
So move.
Sandy made the motion. Gary second. All in favor say aye.
The last thing I have is just to let you know that we've gotten hit pretty hard at the police department with COVID. At one time, we had 9 people out. We're down to 6. We got 3 of them back. We were at 5, but we had an extra one to come in today. And I just have one thing to talk with y'all about a personnel issue in executive session.
Yes, sir.
Buster, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. Do we need to look at our ordinance as far as discharging firemen in the city? And don't get me wrong, I know we have fireworks going off and guns being shot all over the place in every major city there is. But do we need to look at ours? Now, my concern is that we have these guns being shot around these residences in the city of Cleveland. It's so congested, you know, these houses that they're close to one another, and when a person discharges a firearm, and especially one of those high velocity firearms, you got older people and things of that nature. So I just want to know, do we need to look at our audience and see if we can put a little bit more teeth into it for it coming?
Attorney Griffith and I have already talked about that. We're going to look at what our ordinance is and see what we can do to strengthen it. Also, the Chiefs Association, we've talked about trying to see what we can do to get some type of teeth in a state law for this type of issue. So that is being looked at right now.
Well, you got my 100% participation on it.
Okay. Thank you, Buster. Okay, we'll go to Greg.
We have got our fire truck has been delivered to Horn Lake. They're currently putting some brackets, equipment on it and that type of thing. We're expecting delivery of that truck here at number 1 station Thursday. We'd like to invite all of the aldermen, mayor, all the department heads at 6 o'clock Thursday evening to do kind of an unveiling. We're very proud of it. It's beautiful, beautiful truck that we'd like for y'all to see, and just kind of put your hands on it and see what kind of equipment you purchase. But that'll be 6 o'clock Thursday night. And of course, anybody in the public that would like to come and see that as well, it belongs to the citizens of Cleveland, and it's something we can be very proud of. So again, 6 o'clock Thursday night here at number 1 station under the big flag. So other than that, and what we've been dealing with community development. I don't have anything else.
Looking forward to that Thursday night. Thank you.
Is number one the one by City Hall, or is it the new one?
It's the new one underneath the flag.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That'll be great. Jamie, animal shelter.
Hey there. The monthly reports, it's about the same. We did end up taking in 3 more on New Year's Eve. I found all 3 of them. It's just how the night went. We did end up taking 1,020 animals in for 2021, excuse me. And we ended up with an 82.2% live release rate, which means 82% of the animals that came in left adopted, transferred to rescue, or returned to owner. And if 90% live release rate means you're a no kill. So we're operating really well for a municipal shelter as far as live release rates go. We're really proud of those numbers. And we ended up transferring out almost 600 animals just to rescues this past year. They did say that we have about 3 weeks now. They had to push back us moving into the new building. The company that installed our dog kennels has to come back and do a few repairs that they found that it wasn't up to par. So they have to come back. They're looking about the week of the 24th. We should be able to do a final walkthrough of that building, and then they'll turn that building over to us, and they'll move on to phase 2.
Sounds good. And we'll have the ribbon cutting once we get both in place.
Yeah, and they think that phase 2 and phase 3 will go a lot faster than phase 1 because it's not new construction.
Sure.
So we're hopeful.
We'll look forward to that. Okay, questions of Jamie?
I've got one, Mayor.
Okay, Dan.
Jamie, with the drop in the temperature, are you having any reports of animal abuse with animals being tied up, can't get to shelter, water?
Not as much as I'd expect. We had one call the other night that one of my ACOs went out on, and the owner had put him out to go to the bathroom and brought him back in the house. But we usually have a few more calls than this during this weather, so I'm pretty surprised that the phone has been pretty slow.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor?
Uh-huh.
Hey, this is Heather. I'd like to add something for the animal shelter if I may.
Okay.
I'd like to tell everyone, and also to say thank you to Public Works. They went out there and done a lot of cleanup for the animal shelter.
I meant to mention that. Thank you, Heather.
And he's also offered to help get everything else cleaned up. And so those guys can just pick up, from the animal shelter where he gets everything cleaned up and sprayed down to help them out and get them started.
I meant to mention that, and I got distracted by one of my kids. Yes, we really appreciate that. They came out and helped us clean up the mess behind our dumpster so we could move our Connex. And so I really, really appreciate all that help. And I meant to say that initially, and I completely got airheaded and forgot. But we super appreciate their help to come out and help us. It was more than we could do ourselves.
Thank you, Jamie. That's what we're supposed to do, work as a team. Okay, Hunter, go back.
How are y'all? Y'all have my monthly report. If y'all have any questions.
Hunter, we have an emergency number.
You have my cell phone number?
No, I mean, like if a citizen has a problem, who do they call?
Well, they have been calling the police department. The police department contacts me. And I bet you we've gotten probably 10 or 20 over the Christmas holidays. So they have been calling the police department when they do have a problem.
Okay, I mean, go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry.
Dominic, do we need to put that out and let people know when they do? A lot of times they'll call some of us, as we all know.
Right. Yeah, that's been what people have done for years is called the PD. We can have an emergency number set up, or we could put it out, whatever you guys would like to do.
I think we need to put it out.
Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. They just need to know where to call, because I had somebody call me a couple weeks ago and they said they've called and nobody's answering the phone, and I really didn't know what to say.
So at City Hall after hours, does a message kick over saying, we're closed and call this number or that number for assistance?
I'm not sure if it tells you what number to call, but I know a message does come up to basically say we're not here. But I'll get that fixed too, so we can put a number in there.
Mayor, can I say this, Mayor?
Sure.
Is Dominique, if we can, for you and Hunter, my reasoning for having an emergency number, as Gary said, even though it may go to that police department, but they are swamped with so many more calls. And there's gonna be questions, that citizens will have to relate to them. They're not gonna have time to take all that information down to get it to Hunter and his crew. So we need an emergency number where they can call directly and tell them what the problem is.
So you'd like an emergency number just for the wastewater department?
Yes, for the wastewater department, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, would that require another person? We have someone sitting at the desk at the police station. Is the thought process behind that?
I mean, we can set it up to have it routed to a cell phone.
And you can rotate it, can't you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can get with Hunter and we can set it up to where it can be routed to different people at different times.
Right.
Yeah.
Where it goes to the police, I mean, it's just not one person. The only 24-hour place we got is the police station, obviously.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, y'all can work out those details, Dominique. Okay. Further questions of Hunter? You're doing a mighty good job, Hunter.
You are. Good job.
Steve-O?
Good evening, everybody. Oh, I don't have anything outside my report unless y'all got anything for me.
Questions of Steve-O? That means you're doing great when they don't ask questions, Steve-O. You do. And we appreciate you.
Thank y'all.
The decorations and everything y'all did was great down there this past year.
Yeah.
Mayor,
Yeah, they're working.
Yes.
They started on it today.
we didn't need a motion for that, did we?
Motion for what?
For the emergency number for the.
No, we have the, we're gonna take care of that.
Right.
Okay, Steve. Okay, if nothing, Steve, let's go to Clint.
Good evening, Mayor. Y'all have my report, and unless you have any questions, I don't have anything to add tonight.
Questions of Clint?
Clint, just out of curiosity, what's the purpose of those UAV flights Mississippi State's doing?
What their main goal that they're trying to do is integrate unmanned manned flight together is what they're ultimately trying to do. And so they've been there's a partnership they got up with Delta State, and so they're going to be basically working with them on that. And also, it's my understanding that Delta State's going to kind of help them as a chase plane, I guess you'd say. In order to operate a UAV, it can't operate outside of line of sight. So what they'll probably do is put the operator in the plane with someone from Delta State, and then what they'll do is basically chase the UAV, and so that way they have eyes on it the entire time that it's operating.
Okay.
Okay, further question? Okay, thank you, Clint. Jason?
I don't have anything outside of my report unless y'all have something for me.
Okay, questions of Jason? Okay, Dominique?
All right, so we just have one item. It is related to one of our vehicles that, if you remember, we purchased, I believe, 8 vehicles this budget year, and we're wanting to put them all on one lease with Planters Bank, who won the bid. We did just receive the airport vehicle. And so in order not to kind of break up that lease, we're asking if the city can front the payment for this vehicle so we can keep the lease together, because we still haven't received the other 7 vehicles.
So move.
Second.
Okay, Gary, Danny, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Anything else, Dominique?
No, sir.
Okay, questions of Dominique? If not, we'll go to Heather.
Hey,
Heather?
guys. I have the employee action recommendation, everything on this. We don't have to go into executive session unless you guys have some questions. Just needing your approval, but I do have an item that we will discuss in executive session.
Yeah, I'd like to discuss one issue in the executive session.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Robert, you got anything?
Yeah, no more than what we talked about earlier. And I was trying to look at that audience. ordinance we have now as it relates to discharging of a firearm, so.
Okay, Kirk,
No, sir, I have nothing. Thank you.
Zena?
No, sir. I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone, and it's great to see your smiling faces.
Thank you, Zena. Okay, Ted?
Yes, in some streets in my ward, we're having problems with double parking. There are a couple of streets, and I tell Russell which streets they are, where cars are parked specific on both sides of the road, and then the people that are parked on the area that said no parking will not move. And I had a little problem with one, asked me to move and wouldn't move, and he was illegal parked. So I'm hoping that the police department kind of put a little teeth in that and let people know that they are not to park, in places where it said no parking.
We'll get down there and write some tickets, Mr. Campbell.
Okay, thank you, Buster. Thank you, Ted. All right, Gary?
The only thing I want to say is going into this new year, Billy Trotter's crew is doing a great job. People take care of everything when it's clean, and we need to enforce our ordinances all over this town, and that kind of goes with what Ted was just saying. If they're parking cars on both sides of the street, we need to stop it. It's just let's clean up everything we can in Cleveland. It might help with some of this crime issue we're dealing with.
Well put. Hey, Brian?
Yeah, well, Danny, did you ever speak to anybody with Sparklight or C-Spire to come give us an update about some of the internet issues we've been having in town?
Thank you.
I did, but I have not heard back from Darren yet.
Okay. If you can get him at one of our next two meetings, that would be good, Danny.
I will.
All right. What you got?
I just wanted to thank all the department heads and staff and the leadership. Cleveland's doing great. Let's keep it going.
I just want to, my only thing would be to kind of carry on what Gary was saying. We are going to sit down and get groups together. We're going to really look at our ordinance and put some teeth in what we're doing around here, like you said, Robert. And we've got to stand up and stand up strong right now to make ourselves. You can't rest on your laurels. You have to just get a little better every day, and that's what we plan to do. Starting out this new year is putting some teeth into what we're trying to get done around here for the good of everybody. Okay, with that being said, Robert?
Last thing is that tomorrow we'll open up our legislative session beginning of 2022. And I'm excited about it. And I hope all my colleagues are excited as I am. So I just want to let you know that we take the floor and get things kicked off and try to make sure that we can do what's best for our state.
Good luck to you. We know you'll be good. All right, Kurt, an executive session.
I move we consider an executive session to consider one police personnel issue.
Second.
One issue involving human resources and possible litigation discussion.
Second.
Kurt made the motion. Gary second. All in favor say aye.
I move we enter executive session and consider those three issues.
Kurt made the motion.
Second.